Good morning, everyone. I'm Darrell Steinberg, the mayor of Sacramento. Thank you for joining me for a Facebook Live here. My special guest today is Terri Carpenter, who is a lead job finder for people. That would be the best way to say it. Let's bring Terri in for a moment here if we can. Welcome.
Good morning.
Terri, tell me, first of all, exactly what your title is.
Well, my official title is a Workforce Development Manager.
You are, and you work for the Sacramento Employment Training Agency, correct?
Yes, that's true.
And how long have you been at this for?
You know, actually, last month was 24 years for me here.
Wow.
At the agency. Mm-hmm.
Great career helping people. So let's start with the basics because people may not know. Tell us what the Sacramento Employment Training Agency does and what the purpose of the organization is.
Sure. So the Sacramento Employment and Training Agency, or SETA, has been around since 1978, so over 40 years. We have been delivering services and programs to the community residents to improve their lives in a lot of different ways. Basically, our mission statement is preparing people for success in school, in work, and in life.
And tell me how you're funded and how it all works. Where do you get your resources to do what you do?
Well, our primary funding source is federal funding, and then we also receive state funding. So that is through these different funding sources, we're also looking for, we're always looking for funding, of course, to support our initiatives. But our two main funding sources are the federal dollars through the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act and the Health and Human Services Department, and then, of course, state discretionary funding from the government.
Give me a range of just an estimate, range of magnitude of how much money we receive as a county every year for these efforts from the federal government and from the state.
The total agency on the for SETA and the workforce development side is about $32 million. And one of the primary focuses of SETA is we are a supporter of organizations in our community. Our philosophy is to fund those organizations in the neighborhoods and in the areas in our city that really know their communities and know what services need to be delivered.
So you take the $32 million of federal and state funds, and what do you do with it?
Well, we focus on services that are going to uplift our community. Our primary focus through our Sacramento Works program, which is our workforce development side of SETA, is really to provide upskill training, employment, job search assistance, special services for youth to empower them to get their first job, internships. We work with employers. We also provide services to help them identify candidates to fill their positions. So whenever it comes to employment and training, the workforce side of the house in Sacramento Works, that's really our focus.
And again, I think it's all helpful to people watching this. What is sort of the approximate breakdown between adults you're retraining and younger people or people coming out of school who you train?
Well, through our network of job centers, and we have 12 throughout Sacramento County, our services can from 16 years old to seniors, for example. So we kind of run the gamut for who, universal access to anybody who's looking for their first job, a better job, they're changing careers, or maybe they've been laid off from their current job. So the age range really runs, from teenagers to seniors. But we do have specific youth initiatives. We serve about over 1,000 youth in more specific, more strategic ways, specific programs that really are more case managed, supported those youth so they can move through a series of work skills training and then be placed in a work experience that relates to a career opportunity.
So within SETA, you, as you said earlier, you are the lead on what's called Sacramento Works. What is Sacramento Works?
Well, Sacramento Works is the workforce development division of SETA, It is federally funded through the legislation, Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which means we're trying to offer opportunities for employment and moving forward in careers and life skills, and provide our residents the supports that they may need to be successful. So it runs from, we have programs that help with self-sufficiency services, help them keep their utilities on, help them with rental assistance. It could be food supports, training programs, scholarships so they can be retrained, and really some one-on-one peer support counseling to make sure that they can navigate whatever situation they may be in at the time they come in and visit us.
So 12 job centers throughout Sacramento. I assume they're geographically located
Throughout the county.
The county.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're unemployed, somebody's unemployed, they want some help, they go to the job center. What happens?
So they'll walk in the door, and the first thing they are greeted by our staff, and we basically provide them with a tour of the center, and we give them an overview of the services that are available. We really encourage them to sign up for an orientation so that we can give them a much more broader overview of all the services that are available. And then what we do is we connect them with a coach. So that coach can then do a more deeper dive assessment with that individual. What's their goals, what's their needs, and what are their aspirations? And we try to work with them to develop a career plan, an action plan on where they are from here at that point in time they come in to where they want to go.
And prior to COVID-19, give me an idea again about some of the numbers. What was the average caseload at each of the centers? How many people coming in on a weekly basis, a monthly basis to seek help?
Well, prior to COVID, we were seeing about over 25,000 residents in our community a year through this job center system. As COVID hit and the shelter in place, we had to move to remote services. We still are offering personalized assistance through email and most often on the phone. Through phone calls. There's still, we still do have 3 centers that are still taking individuals by appointment to continue the services. We're seeing a lot more individuals coming in, accessing through through our virtual services, calling our centers, mostly to help them navigate the unemployment system, tips on what they need to do to get those benefits as fast as they can. And then accessing all the other resources that we normally provide in the job center system, which is emergency service for rent, utilities, food, and so forth.
So 25,000, that's an average over the course of a year. Is that a fair approximation? Mm-hmm. So in the month of March, in April, how much of an increase has there been?
Well, I would say that since we haven't been, whenever we give everyone that comes into a center a Sacramento Works card, and that really allows us to track the individuals that come through our doors. So with COVID, we're just basing it on the number of calls. We still have a caseloads that we were serving of individuals prior to COVID. So I would say we're seeing, probably a couple thousand more people calling in just in the last couple weeks. But that we feel we're seeing a gradual increase as people get more, settled with unemployment, or as the unemployment access may continue to increase. We're getting a lot of calls. A lot of times they think we are the unemployment office, which we are a partner with ED, but we do not have we don't deliver that unemployment. But what we do provide is that personalized assistance to help guide them, walk them through the UI online. And that's really, again, what we're seeing a lot of, and the request for emergency services for rental assistance and all the life necessities right now is key.
How do you collaborate with other job trainers in the county and the region? I'm thinking, for example, about the community colleges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about the state university.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about the nonprofits that may not be associated with SETA, especially during this time when people are out of work and are looking for other opportunities for retraining or for jobs themselves. What is SETA doing to sort of break out of its own specific responsibilities to broaden the pot of resources for people out there?
Well, we've got a couple different strategies that we've been employing. We have a couple online training platforms. One is Metrics Learning, which is accessible to any Sacramento County resident, online training with over 5,000 different courses that they can access. We've really been pushing that because if you're sheltering in place and maybe you want to upskill or you're looking at maybe changing your employment, this is a great way to shelter in place and take a project management course that comes with certification. We're also working with Futuro Health, which is an free online medical training program that we're offering to Sacramento County residents. The first program out is medical assistance, and we have that information on our website that they can access on our COVID resource page that pops up on our Sacramento Works site, so they can access the Metrics Learning platform. They can access Futuro training, but in general, we are not the actual trainers. What we work with is the experts in our community that deliver training. So our partners are our community college system, the university system, the adult education system, such as Charles A. Jones, and many of the adult education providers out there. We're always trying to partner with new and innovative training programs and communities, organizations that deliver specific training. So we engage with, many different entities that is in our training array, our list of training opportunities, because our focus is customer choice. So when a customer comes in and they want training, they have the ability to look and decide which entity they would like to have that training take place, if it's a community college or if it's the university or an adult ed or Charles A. Jones, whatever it may be. We try to get that they're the ones that get to look at what the opportunity is and decide what would be the best fit for them. Of course, what we also do is make sure that they can be successful in completing that training by giving them skills assessments and career exploration to determine, you may say you want to be a nurse, but once you kind of do a little bit more, dive in, you may decide that maybe that's not the best fit and I'd like to go in another direction. So that's kind of all of the process that we work with our customers on in the centers.
Yeah. So somebody watching this might say, all right, all the training in the world is good. Is there anybody hiring out there right now?
Well, we are really actively engaged with all the grocery stores, obviously, right now, and the distribution centers that are trying to get products out to all the different entities. So that's really a lot of our focus. We're also working with some restaurants right now in some of these special programs, similar to the program that you just launched with the food service, preparing the food meals. We're waiting to receive a funding source to help laid off workers to retrain them and offer on-the-job training reimbursements to organizations that want to bring back their employees or hire new employees that offset the wages for them to be basically brought back to their organizations or hired on. So that is a funding source that we're hoping we hear. Gosh, we've been in the next couple days that we'll be launching additional programs to help retrain or support employees and employers getting back to work.
But right now you're saying that if someone is looking for work, that the potential of going to work now, doing something in the food distribution world and the grocery world is a possibility.
Yes. And, healthcare is still a strong industry. So there's still opportunities in that sector. So,
And you actually talk about SETA's relationship with the employer community. I mean, is it as simple as somebody comes into one of the job centers and one of your coaches can actually pick up the phone to an employer that he or she knows is hiring and say, "Hey, I've got a good candidate or a good applicant here"?
Yes, we're preparing individuals to be successful in moving forward in their, interviewing and their resume. We will look at people's resumes and make sure that it's fine tuned, but we really make that connection. We have a free job posting service to any employer who wants to share their opportunity. We have a network of over 300 different organizations and partners that our job orders that we take go out. And there is, job availabilities and postings in each of the centers on a daily basis. So we get upwards to 200 to up to 200, depending on, the landscape, job postings a day.
That is interesting. So talk now a little bit more about COVID-19 and how your operation itself has had to change. Can people still drop into the job centers, or is it all by phone or online?
So we have 3 centers that are in our network that are currently taking appointments by phone and scheduling on a per case basis, and that's La Familia, the Greater Sacramento Urban League, and Asian Resources. The rest of our centers, we have staff manning the phones that are taking the calls, and as soon as that call comes in, we connect them with a coach, and they are called back, and then we start the process and the conversation to get them connected to whatever it is they may need.
Yeah. What else is Sacramento going to need over the course of the next number of weeks and months to address the increased numbers of people who are going to need work and are going to need retraining, resource-wise, capacity-wise, and what does the community have to do to increase our ability to help more people?
Well, through our system of 12 centers, when there was the Great Recession, we were serving over 50,000 people a year. So we're pretty much poised to be able to handle more capacity. And what we're seeing is that the federal government and the state, through the governor's discretionary funding opportunities, there is more money funding out there to support initiatives to help people get back to work. And so we will have more resources to help those individuals. Basically, people just need to pick up the phone and call us.
Yeah. What about youth? What about the 17-year-old, the 16-year-old, the 18-year-old that's looking for a summer job?
So right now, with school out, and a lot of the different, the shelter in place employer opportunities, we're trying to engage youth virtually right now, virtual work skills training. We're truly trying to move forward with the opportunities to place them with employment. I have to say that COVID-19 has really impacted our ability to keep those opportunities flowing and keep them engaged. We're hoping by June that some of those that will be lifted, and that we can continue to place our kids in summer internships. We have the SMUD summer internship program that's going to be happening this summer. We just received $350,000 from the Department of Rehabilitation to help youth with disabilities for training and placement in work experience opportunities. We are also a partner with the Gap Foundation to place over 50 interns in Gap Old Navy stores coming this summer, as well as our ongoing year-round youth program So we're keeping them engaged virtually. We're sending out resources. We're continuing to engage with employers so that when the time is right, we can provide these opportunities to our young people.
Let me ask you about the issue of telework or telecommuting. You talk about all the job postings that SETA places. How many of them either require or allow telecommuting?
Well, I think there's been such a big shift in telecommuting or teleworking that most organizations have kind of had to reorganize and retrofit to be able to have their employees work from home. And I think that you'll see more teleworking opportunities from moving forward than we ever have been, because we proved it can be done. And we proved that productivity is still there, even if people are teleworking. So I think that most organizations, unless it is a real personalized service, I think you'll see more opportunities in that area.
Yeah, I think they're going to change the job specification from mayor to say to work from your den when necessary.
One of the other things I did want to mention is that the federal government right now has draft legislation that is looking to fund $2.58 billion for nationally for more services geared to entities like ours to serve adults, youth, and dislocated workers. So we're waiting for more. That's in the House right now, and we're waiting for that to move through. So I think there's going to be a lot more funding opportunities to allow us to provide more services that we need to do based on the COVID and the impact it's had on our economy and our workers in our community.
Very helpful. What do you need from the city of Sacramento?
Well, continued support for the work that we do. As a joint powers agency, we are a partner with the city. We'd like to continue to partner with the city and make sure that our services and our resources are aligned to better utilize the resources better, and so that we can work together to solve the workforce issues in our community. And I think that partnership is one of the best things that we have with the city.
Thank you, Terri. Anything you want to say to sum up here today? We're getting close to the end of our time.
I encourage everyone to go to sacramentoworks.org, and as the first thing that you will see when you pop up is the resources that we have geared specifically to address COVID-19. Our job centers are all listed on that page, so you don't have to hunt for them. The metrics learning access there, the information about the Futuro Health training is there, and just links to UI and the pandemic resources, resources for businesses with the Metro Chamber and some of the hotlines they've been developing. We really encourage individuals and businesses to call us and reach out to us so that we can provide you services.
I like you presented a lot of really important information, but maybe the most important thing you said over this last half hour is don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call, whether you're a business, whether you're an individual, because there are trained, qualified, caring people on the other end of that line who will help you either navigate how to get the assistance you need now and or connect you to the potential of a job. And, if you don't ask, then nothing good can happen, right? If you ask, all of a sudden, things may present themselves that you never imagined possible. And I thank you so much for the public service that you are providing and performing. And certainly the issue of workforce is elevating once again.
Yes.
Because there are a lot of people that are going to need to think about different industries, different careers. And SETA is a great place to to start and to get the information that you need for yourself. And I really appreciate your time today and all the work that you're doing.
Thank you for the opportunity. We really appreciate. So call us.
Call. Bye, everybody.
Bye.